Oh, hi. This is Nana. Today I'm going to show you how to make some good southern chicken and dumplings the easy way. Let me show you some of the ingredients that you're going to need. First, I've already got some chicken breast in here boiling, boneless. I'm going to add this stick of blue bonnet. You're going to need black pepper. We're going to do it the easy way with the good old Grand's biscuits. When the chicken is done, then we will transfer the chicken into some boiling broth. And now I'm going to show you how to get started. After your chicken starts to boil, you're going to want to take your stick of butter and cut it up and put it into the chicken after it boils. This just gives a good flavor to the chicken and makes the chicken more tender. Then I'm going to place the lid back on. Let the chicken probably boil for maybe 20-25 minutes to good and tender. Then you will set it off the stove and let it cool down. And next, while the chicken is boiling, I usually take my good chicken broth. I try to buy the 33% less sodium. And I put it in my pot that I'm actually going to add my chicken to when it cools down. And then actually cut my dumplings up to put in. I usually buy a big container of broth and then a smaller container of broth. After pouring the broth into the pot, I like to go ahead and add some black pepper. Sure does make them dumplings taste mighty fine. Okay, the next step we're going to do is we're going to take these 2 cans of biscuits here and open them and get them prepared to be rolled out and then cut into strips to make into dumplings. Alright, now I'm going to show you how I roll out easy dumplings. I take a couple of these biscuits and I flip them and flop them in this flour and mash them out with my hand. And then I take this dough roller and I start rolling. Whoops, let me move a few of them out of the way. Usually I'll turn them from side to side, because the thinner they are, the better they'll be. Then I'll take them and lay them on a plate off to the side. And as I do them, I will stack them on top each other. I try to keep some of the flour on the biscuit because it just helps thicken the dumplings when they are cooking. Looks like to me I'm going to have to clean my rings. Going to have some floury diamonds. And this is how I stack them, y'all. There was 8 biscuits in each can, so I've got 15 right here. Here's the last one. I always flip it in the flour several times as I'm rolling. Just helps to make thicker gravy for the dumplings. Usually try to make it about as big around as a saucer. Then I just transfer it over onto the pile. That part's done. Now comes the fun part.
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm getting flour off my diamonds.
You're getting flour off your diamonds.
I sure am. I need a brush. Okay, y'all, the next step is now that the chicken is done and we've got it turned off, we're going to dip it out of this pot into a bowl where it can be cooling down because I don't like having burnt fingers. After it cools down, then we're going to pinch it up and pull it apart so when we start adding our dumplings to the broth, we'll also add the chicken as the dumplings are cooking. Alright, I believe that's got all the chicken now. We're going to spread it apart, set it over here, and let it cool down. We're going to save this water and butter just in case we need a little extra juice to go in our broth. Well, now that the chicken is cooled off, we're going to take it and break it up so we can put it in our dumplings. I don't like having big chunks of chicken in my dumplings. I like them to be kind of small and shredded up. Pretty easy once it cools off, but you sure don't want to try to do it while it's hot. Now that I've got the chicken shredded up, we're going to turn the eye on to about medium-high for the broth to start getting warming up. Here's the chicken all shredded up. Alright, now that we've got the broth warmed up, we're going to slowly start adding the shredded chicken. Make sure that you shred your chicken up good. It just makes it go all through the dumplings while they're cooking. Then I just take the spoon and kind of stir it around a little bit and let it reheat back up. Now we're going to move over here to our rolled out biscuits. I try to slice them at least an inch apart so they'll make good thick dumplings. Once you get that done, I get my pan that had the flour left on it. And I just start picking up the dumplings and separating them onto this pan of flour. Try to make sure they all come apart, and they should because you had enough flour on them while you were rolling them out. Damn, that's a lot of dumplings. I just take the excess flour that's left on the pan and kind of just tumble them around in it, because that's just going to thicken the broth where it'll make good dumplings. Alright, I'm going to stir this up. It's starting to really get hot so I can start adding the dumplings. I'm going to turn it down to about a little past medium-high, because we want the broth to be good and hot to cook these dumplings. I usually just take a handful of them and put them in one hand and start feeding them into the broth with the other hand. Do about 2 handfuls, and then I'm going to stir them, because we don't want no raw, doughy dumplings. They need to be thoroughly cooked. There, we're going to give it a little stir here. Always try to make sure that your dumplings are separated so they won't be too thick. Alright, everybody, down to about the last handful of dumplings. Just try to make sure that they're separated and don't stick together. And a little extra flour for thickening. Never hurt nobody. Make sure you get them stirred up real good and try to notice if any are stuck together. Turn it down on medium-low. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper, because people in the South really love pepper. They like salt too, but it's not good for you. Now we're going to put the lid on this and let it simmer for about maybe 25-30 minutes, and then we're going to sample one of them. Alright, everybody, here's the final product. Yummy, yummy. Always blow the bites first. It's hot. Perfect. Let's eat. Thanks for stopping by the kitchen, y'all. We're fixing to eat these chicken and dumplings. See you next time.